yeah, and Sacagawea she's the one that went with Lewis and Clark?
Yeah, and she showed them basically from I think it was like the Louisiana Purchase all the way up to the West Coast. I think
Okay.
Washington or something, North Pacific Northwest. The whole time, her having a baby and like traveling with that baby. So
That baby being Lewis and Clark. No, I'm kidding.
they were her surrogate babies. I'm sure.
Exactly. She was like, I already have one baby. I need you to act like grown-ups. What if I had told you that it had to be a dead person? Would you have gone for Sacagawea? Or
Oh
would you
yeah,
have just... Okay.
I would have gone for second
Okay.
giveaway as well. So you got that in like I think 4 or 5 questions. I don't know if I made that
That was...
hard enough.
Yeah. No, I'm surprised at myself, to be honest.
No, I'm
Also,
afraid.
Also, I feel kind of bad because I don't think I know any of the Supreme. I don't know any of the Mexican judges on the Supreme Court. So it's not like I know this because like I like watch more American news. I feel kind of bad right now.
But anyways,
Okay.
those are just a tangential point. Yeah,
Okay. So
your 20 question. Awesome.
yeah,
BA.
I don't know. I also like I wanted the thing is like I kept on thinking and either I thought she was too obvious or too obscure.
Right.
So, who I ended up choosing. Well, first of all, she is dead.
Okay.
But anyway,
That's not part of my questions though. You voluntarily gave that information.
Yeah, no, well, you gave me she's alive, so
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
I feel it's fair. This woman, she actually turns out she had a way more badass life than I knew. Even though I think she's really cool. Or I thought she was really cool. This is gonna be super misleading, but I don't care. Her mom was like one of the first feminists ever. And when she was young, and I mean like super young, she started having an affair with a poet who was married. Who everybody knew, so there was like a scandal and the whole thing. But like they didn't care. They kept on bumping uglies, as they say.
No one says that.
Until
No one says that.
I know. I wanted to say, as they say,
Okay. Go on. Sorry.
as I say. So until the man's wife committed suicide,
The
and then
man's the man's wife committed. Okay, the lover's wife.
exactly,
Okay.
his wife commits suicide basically out of shame of having this, and the guy's like, and when him and her are like, well, now we can marry.
Okay.
And they do. They
Okay.
marry, and she's 17 years old.
All right. So she's 17 when they marry.
Yeah, he's way older. So while they're married, he's a poet. She wants to be a writer. And so at one point, they go on a writer's retreat with just a bunch of friends. And in this writer's retreat, like their more famous friend is like, we should all tell each other a story, and whoever tells the best story wins.
Okay.
And she wins. And
Because
this is
she had
basically
the best story.
she had the best story. She had the best story. And this is basically the most important thing in her life. Basically, this story is she's a writer. It's the most famous story. Then her husband dies at sea. He drowns in a storm.
What?
And yeah.
Okay.
And so the rest of her life is spent on the one hand fighting her father-in-law because her father-in-law did not like that his husband was a writer. So he wanted for no one to know that he was a writer, but she was like, no, my husband was a writer and he was a good one. So I'm gonna make sure everyone knows. So she spent her life writing her own work, raising her children, and editing the posthumous works of her husband in order for him to be known after his death. And even then, she was more famous than him because of this one story that had all of her friends basically saying, this is a fucking great story. I think this is enough for you to start asking questions.
Is she European or on the American continent?
European.
European. I mean, I don't even know why I even asked it.
That doesn't help.
Yeah, I don't know if Sylvia Plath is American or European.
Sylvia Plath is damn it, she's American.
She has one famous story. Is it a story, novel, book? What is it?
It's a short novel.
How long has she been dead?
She's been dead for like 150 years or so.
Jesus
Maybe
Christ.
a little.
This is not going to be easy. So, she was alive during the 18th century?
Yes.
Or 19th? How do centuries
It's
work?
1800s.
1800s.
I can give you her birth year.
Okay, let's. What's her birth year?
1799.
1799.
August 30. She's a Virgo.
I don't know what that means.
Yes. No, I'm not that. Now I'm doubting whether she's a. I think she's a Virgo. August, September, October. Yeah, she's a Virgo.
Oh man, the only thing I could follow up was, I mean, because the birth year really isn't helping me. I was gonna guess if she was gonna be American. I was gonna guess the lady who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. But
HarperCollins?
That one, yeah, but yeah, no.
No.
She died a few years ago, or
Yeah.
maybe a couple of decades ago.
If I can give you a clue, I think you should be focusing more on her in her most famous book, and less on
Yeah, that's the only avenue that I could probably go down. But you already said that her book was scary.
Yes.
Like, would it be classified as a horror, or is it scary in a different way?
No, it would be. It's very much classified as a.
Oh, Mary Shelley.
Yes.
Oh, how many questions was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
Yeah.
Who was her husband?
Percy.
Percy Jackson?
No. I don't know how to pronounce his second name. Percy Bysshe Shelley. But that is the thing. He's a poet, and she spent the rest of her life trying to make him known, like super famous. But like she never made him more famous than her.
I'm dying. Jesus Christ. Mary Shelley's ghost is punishing me for not knowing her right away. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It clicked when horror. I'm like, who was famous for horror and is a woman?
Yeah.
There's not many. I don't think. Or is there?
I don't. Yeah, no. Now you mention it, that's why I didn't want to say like scary. It kind of escaped my mouth. I was like, oh damn it, I said scary. But yeah, no, but she basically, the thing about this book, her most famous book, The Modern Prometheus, aka Frankenstein, is that it's credited for being like the best example of Gothic horror.
Is it?
And also, yes. And also, some people say that it's like technically the first science fiction book, if you stretch the idea enough for it to be like.
I mean, there was science involved.
Exactly.
In the creation of Frankenstein's monster, so I guess.
So sometimes she's also being credited as being like the first, like the first science fiction thing and like book and yeah, I don't know any. I'm pretty sure like if we look for them, there's a lot of women writing horror.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, no, I don't have in my mind like immediately someone who wrote, because like if you go for the classic monsters, The Phantom of the Opera was written by a guy, Dracula was written by a guy. I don't think The Werewolf is a book originally. Yeah, no, I don't. And that's a great thing about Mary Shelley. Like in this retreat, like she was like super worried. Like Lord Byron was there and all, like they like.
That was her the most famous friend, right?
Yes.
Okay.
and everyone's like, okay, let's write like a scary story, and she was like, oh no, I'm gonna like make a fool out of myself, and she ended up writing the Modern
Fra-
Prometheus.
oh, is during that right? Was it a writing
Yes,
retreat?
he
Yeah,
did like
writers
it
retreat.
was like
Yeah.
a yeah, like I don't know, I mean I said writers retreat because it was like the most modern way to put it out, but like a lot of writing friends they went out and they're like and like Lord Byron said like, well, let's see who can write the best ghost story or like the best, like scary story. And she was just like racking her brains for something, and she ended like she said that it came to her in a dream, and then she
Obviously.
wrote it, and everyone said like this is the best one. And I don't know if you've read Frankenstein's the novel The Modern Prometheus, but it's great. I'm just being a know-it-all. I'm being a Hermione right now.
Yeah,
That's what I'm doing.
that's completely okay. I'm sure that our viewers are only mildly annoyed.
Which is why I'm single. Speaking of scary stories, uh, I did send you this because I found it scary slash hilarious. The Kim Jong Un thing.
Oh yeah. Kim, I actually have it over here. Kim Jong Un deliberately faked his death to expose traitors in a circle. God, he's like the Regina George of dictators.
There's actually a YouTube video about Regina George being a dictator. Anyhow, but yeah, like what the fuck? It's like I'm gonna. It's like pretending to be asleep when your friends are talking about you.
Or pretending to have like your headphones on,
Yeah.
just so you can fucking hear what people are saying.
Yes.
He's such. Yeah, I honestly absolutely believe that this motherfucker is capable of that. Just because, just look at him. He actually don't even look at him. That's
You know
depressing in
what?
itself.
The thing on the one, it's one of two. Either he was actually like very ill and he doesn't want to accept it, but he's like, no, I was pretending to be super ill in order to like find you out. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Which is also like a very petty thing to do and something I would imagine a dictator would do. Or he faked his own death in order to find traitors in a circle, to find this person who was like, now I will be emperor. But I like that for a second. Everyone was afraid that his sister was gonna be the next in line.
Her sister, all the pictures that I've seen of her sister, like she looks straight up mean. She like you look at Kim Jong Un and you could probably appease his anger by saying, "Hey, I made a fresh batch of cookies," or anything related with food, and he'd be like, "Oh, I forgot why I
Yeah.
was mad." His sister would straight up be like, "Oh, you forgot to make me cookies? Off with your head."
Yeah, she would accept the cookies, eat them, and be like, you know what? I didn't like those cookies.
They fucking sucked. Hey guys, I'm sorry. This is another unfortunate end. It has appeared that after 3 episodes, we still haven't figured out the mechanics of recording multiple sources and putting it all together. We're thinking of having an extras where it's just the audio, since we do have all the audio. And yeah, just putting that up there. Hopefully, we'll see. If you guys don't mind a part 2B, but yeah. Please bear with us. We will figure this out eventually. So, thank you. Uh, Later.